Manage buy and sell programs of banking instruments. You've heard a lot about them. You know there's a lot of fraud. In this video, I'm going to talk about best practices, specifically what happens behind the scenes. You've got to watch this video. Hi, I'm Taimour Zaman from All Funds Global. My organization on this YouTube channel decommoditizes banking products and services that have been in existence for 60, 70, hundreds of years as programs that banks offer their Fortune 30 to Fortune 50 clients. And I decommoditize these products, these programs, these services so vision-driven entrepreneurs can learn how to access them, how to benefit from them, so that together we can create meaningful change in the world. Years ago, I came across something called the Manage Buy Sell programs. And in the most simplest way that I can describe it is, imagine today, there are hundreds, if not millions of people that are perhaps buying commodities from countries like Turkey, selling that commodity to countries like Saudi Arabia, and the commodity could be rice, it could be sugar, like that. There are others who are buying oil from oil-rich countries and selling that oil to countries that don't have oil. In the United States and Canada, there's a lot of people that buy something called real estate. You buy a piece of land, you buy a commercial property, and you put a down payment down, and let's say you've got 180 days to come up with the rest of the money, and in 180 days what you're trying to do is flip that real estate to somebody who's going to pay you a higher price. Managed buy and sell programs is the exact same thing. The guy who's buying rice, sugar, or whatever from Turkey, selling it to the rice, sugar, or whatever to Saudi Arabia is buying a commodity or buying a product like that at a certain price. They're adding a margin on it and selling it for profit to somewhere like in Saudi Arabia. The things got managed buy and sell programs, the truth is that they happen every single day, and they happen in millions of different ways. The difference between standard letters of credit or banking instruments versus standard letter of credit, document letters of credit, bank guarantees, medium-term notes is that profit margin is significantly more compared to perhaps buying sugar, buying commodity, or perhaps to real estate. I come from the real estate industry. That's like 20 years ago is when I became an investor in real estate, and over time I became an international investor. Feel free to check out my book, Hypergrowth, How to Connect to Customers in New Ways. And you can learn my experiences of where I was and how I got to here for sure. But the difference between buying real estate, if I was going to buy a piece of land for less than $100,000, in about 180 days, I could be able to sell that land for maybe 130, 150,000, like that. But in banking products, banking instruments, the profit margin is now 50%. If I was going to buy something for, let's say, $1.5 million today, banking like a standard letter of credit in a managed buy and sell program, if I was going to buy for, let's say, $1.4 million, I'm buying a $250, $500 million letter of credit from one market. I'm selling it to another market with a margin, and I'm probably selling it at a much higher price. Now, for solicitation purposes, and the reason I'm very careful in what we contribute to the world for free, I don't give numbers. But I want to tell you that if I was a commodity player, the profit margins I make in oil, gas, rice, cars, automobiles, like that, compared to banking instruments, the profit margins are huge when it comes to managed buy and sell programs compared to selling sugar, like that. The challenge with managed buy and sell programs is that it's not risk-free. There is a lot of fraud in the industry, and that's unfortunate. That's just the nature of this particular industry. It has a lot of fraud artists in there. And the second challenge is that a lot of people who try to do this or trying to figure this out or trying to learn it don't know how to structure this correctly. And the third, and I would say this is probably the biggest challenge, is you've got millions of what I call joker brokers that have no banking experience. They have no clue what happens behind the scenes, trying to educate a market, primarily business owners, who the guy's just trying to create a profit margin from a buy and sell of a banking instrument so that he can use that profit margin to grow his business. The marketplace, generally speaking, is uneducated in the area of banking instruments, and they're getting most of their knowledge, unfortunately, from a lot of joker brokers who really, they themselves don't know what happens. So I thought I'll come in and talk a little bit about what happens behind the scenes, how it happens, and how to, for you to, if you wanted to get into a managed buy and sell program, how for you to best participate in it. So when it comes to buying an instrument, whether you want to buy an instrument or lease an instrument and a monetize instrument, the first thing you want to get is an issuer who's credible, who can demonstrate to you they are a real issuer. If you don't know how to find these issuers, if you don't know how to vet them out, we can help them out. You can leverage our former FBI, CIA people to take an issuer that you have come across and have us do a vet out the issuer, do a background check on the issuer. If you don't have an issuer, if your issuer is illegitimate, we're more than happy to introduce you to our issuer for sure, Lada. The second thing you need is you need an experienced banker, somebody like us, for instance, my team, that has the experience of doing this on a weekly basis, to come in and mentor you, to come in and mentor the ship. So for instance, as an example, you may want to go from location A to location B, and you may need to go get a bus. Great. You're looking for a bus that's reliable, but more importantly, or equally as important, I think, you need a bus driver, somebody who knows how to drive a bus. You need that bus driver as part of your bus to help take you, your friends and family from location A to location B, and that's pretty much how it works, kind of thing. When the brokerage or the person who represents you, and this could even be an attorney, a securities attorney, if you want to engage a securities attorney, what they would want to do is make sure the contract for the issuer has been signed, contract for the monetizer has been signed, and so the buy and sell program contract has been signed, and the profit margin is clearly articulated in it for you. So just so if I can simplify this and make it very simple so a 5-year-old kid can understand this, I'm buying pencil, I'm using pencil as an example, at 10 cents, and then I found somebody who's willing to buy that pencil from me for 25 cents. It's the exact same pencil. That's what happens every day in commodities, in oil and gas, in cars, and whatever it is that you fancy or whatever you understand. Managed buy and sell programs, in fact, it happens millions of times every single day all around the world. The difference in standard matters of credit or documenters of credit or banking instruments is that I would say the biggest difference is not a it's not really well known thing for people to know about. You really have to be one of your bank's top 30 clients for you to learn about this from your bank. These are truly programs that banks offer high net worth individuals or their top 30 clients like that for sure. So the one thing is a lot of people just don't know that, hey, I can buy a car, sell a car, I can buy sugar, sell sugar and make a profit. I can buy oil at a certain price, sell to another market, make a profit. What you need to know, this is a fact, is that you can also do it with banking instruments. You can buy banking instruments from what I call top 30 banks. Not the no-name Bank of Africa or the no-name bank in New York City. Has to be one of the top 30 banks. You can buy it at a discounted price and flip it to a different market and make sure that and make sure there's a profit margin on it. So the first thing you want to do is get an issuer. If you don't have an issuer that you can trust, you reach out to our organization and we'd be happy to assist you obviously with that. The second thing is you want to vet out the issuer. You want to have somebody who represents you, who's done this before. Trust me. You want people who've done this before for themselves. Or if you can afford to hire somebody who's done this before, then you want to go to a securities attorney and then have the securities attorney represent you on the issuing and the monetization of a letter. So that's the first thing you want to do. The people like us, when we get engaged, the thing that we want to do is we want to structure the transaction correctly. We want to structure this to make sure there's a profit margin that's going to happen. And one of the things we do, and a lot of people for some reason don't know this, the person who's structuring this, has to put money, real money, not monopoly money, not fake money, not hope money, like real dollars, in a margin account in a clearinghouse. This is the part where I'll say 99.9% brokers, what I refer to as a joker broker, has no clue what really happens behind the scenes in a managed buy and sell program. So I want to give you some examples for you to fact check what I'm sharing with you, for you to have reference that out. Imagine you want to go and buy stock. Let's say you want to buy IBM stock or Facebook or whatever companies you know that are publicly traded. Let's say you want to go and buy their stocks. You go to something called an exchange. You put money up and you buy the stock. Consider, this is a fact, consider there's a lot of documentation that demonstrates you as an individual put money up in the exchange and you bought, let's say 100 shares of IBM as an example for whatever price you bought it from. These things are really documented. The same thing that happens in managed buy and sell program, the people you're working with, in this case if it was our organization, we're actually registering. It's called a bank log. There needs to be a bank log that a banking instrument is being purchased or leased from a certain institution, and it's going to be monetized or sold to a different market. Like that. Now, what's a clearinghouse? This is a part where joker brokers don't even understand what happens behind the scene, and they make up fictitious stories to cover the fact that they don't know what really happens behind the scenes. So when it comes to buying stock, consider for a moment there's something called a clearinghouse. They do something called a settlement. And the clearinghouse, in essence, says, okay, I am going to have a margin account. So if the price fluctuates, there's enough money in that margin account to absorb the shock. And the settlement house, the clearinghouse, makes sure that the issuer is legit, or the issuer issues the instrument. And if the instrument doesn't get issued, this is a big part of the settlement house or clearinghouse. What they do is they go in, they use their own funds to issue the instrument. If the monetizer can't monetize it, doesn't come through, whatever it is, then the settlement house or clearinghouse goes in and they put up their money to monetize the instrument. In essence, the role that the clearinghouse provides, and I'm using a very simple, and I'm going to say it up front, it's an inaccurate word I'm going to use, is that in essence they provide insurance. The word insurance is not accurate that I'm using in this sentence, but from an analogy perspective it makes sense. So when you want to manage buy and sell, a clearinghouse provides the settlement. What they do is they make sure the issuer comes through, and if the issuer doesn't come through, they use their own money for the instrument to be issued. Their job is to make sure the monetizer comes through, and if the monetizer doesn't come through, they use their own money for the monetization to happen. Therefore, this is an inaccurate word. They act as an insurer. It's really important for the people you're working with that understand this. Anybody who tells you, Mr. Customer, don't have to put any money up front, that's a very good indication that your transaction is fraudulent and will never ever happen. People like me have to use real banks, real bankers, real settlement people, and put money in something called margin account so that the settlement happens, so that the insurance is there for the transaction to get complete. And that's really important for you to understand. So in terms of best practices, you want to do you want to work with a provider who's real, who can demonstrate to you they can issue. And the second thing, you want to have a bus driver who's demonstrated they can drive the bus, who's done this before, who knows how to structure this correctly, can go to the clearinghouse, settlement house, whichever jurisdiction you live in. I'm sure you can find out what the right word is in your jurisdiction, but there's something called margin account to put money in the margin account so that there's enough insurance in it for the transaction to happen and for it to be successful. The next thing you do want to know is, and I've seen this many times, unfortunately, the issuer makes a lot of money when they aggregate the transaction. So I, Taimour Zaman, if I was going to use my own money to issue a letter of credit for you, I can go to a bank and use your deposit of 1 to 2% for the wiring fees or whatever else I need to issue the instrument. But you need to know, I am not sitting by my phone waiting for your phone call. That's the farthest thing from the truth. What I do is I'll say, okay, you're ready, you're legitimate, you've got your money, you're ready to go, great. I'll put you on the side for now. I'll wait for the next guy. Then what I do is I aggregate all of this together and I go to my bank once. I do all the different transactions only once. And I send them the instrument to all the various monetizers or the clients of wherever the instrument needs to go to. By doing it this way, the issuer, become a lot more efficient. Well, what you need to know about my in-house, the behind the scenes, is my profitability exponentially goes up when I'm aggregating multiple transactions together. So if you want to get into match buy and sell programs compared to investing with a commodity trader, somebody who's buying and selling cars, whatever the deal is, what I can tell you from my personal experience, the profit margins are exponentially higher. That's the first thing I want to tell you. The second thing I do want to tell you, unfortunately, this is just an unfortunate fact in this particular industry, there's a lot of fraud in it. You want to get an issuer that can demonstrate to you performance. If you need to find a monetizer, you want to make sure you have a monetizer that can demonstrate to you they have credit facility for them to pay for the instrument that you want to have issued and monetized like that. Once again, I apologize, I'm going to use the wrong word. But if you're going to work with a mentor, let's say our organization would be your mentor, you want to make sure you work with a mentor that has done this. It has nothing to do whether you like me, whether you like my accent or not. It has nothing to do with that. You want to get a mentor as an organization who's done this for themselves or has done it with their stakeholders, like that kind of thing, to drive the bus. That's really super important kind of thing. The mentor, the partner, their job is to structure the transaction. In many cases, if not all, is also they will put up the money to go into a margin account so that the clearinghouse on the day of the settlement has enough money to make sure the instrument gets issued, enough money to make sure the instrument gets monetized. And that's the big thing that happens behind the scenes that unfortunately a lot of joker brokers simply don't know about. Now, I want to invite you as an intelligent audience of our YouTube channel to fact check what I'm telling you. When you want to go and buy a stock from any exchange, follow their process. You will see there's a documentation that happens when somebody wants to sell you a stock. Guess what? Banking instruments is in the same domain. It's nothing different about it. I understand that there's a lot of secrecy around it. That part I understand and appreciate. But from a banking process perspective, there's nothing that is different about it. Somebody still has to make it's called bank lodge notes. When you want to buy IBM, I'll just use IBM as an example. If you want to buy IBM stocks, there's a lot of documentation that says that on Monday, June 30th, you put up the money to buy 100 stocks of IBM, like that. There's a settlement, there's a clearinghouse behind the scenes that makes sure that the exchange is done. If you don't understand the stock exchange market, fine. Maybe what you understand is buying and selling currencies. Maybe you trade US dollars for European dollars, for let's say the euro as example. I'm just bringing that as example. If you follow your own money, I promise you your money hits something called clearinghouse. The clearinghouse does the settlement of taking, let's say, $100 of US dollars and flips it or sells you equivalent amount of euro dollars like that. So those are the things that's really important for you to know and understand. So broker has to register the transaction, bank loads needs to happen, there has to be a clearinghouse behind the scenes, money needs to go into a margin account to make sure the transaction is done. That margin account or the clearinghouse acts as insurance for you. I hope you found this information helpful. If you'd like to get into the space, learn more about it, if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to our company, All Funds Global, schedule a consultation call. Heads up, we do charge a very small amount of fee for consultation calls up front, primarily for 3 reasons. In reason 1 is that a lot of clients, when they call us, they're asking for returns. And I'm, fanatically observant on laws, rules, and regulations in Canada, United States, and so on. And so if somebody had a camera watching me, that would be considered solicitation. So when a client is paying for the call, now the client is paying for expertise. It's like walking to a law firm, paying the lawyer for legal expertise. It's the same thing. That's primarily one big reason why we charge a small amount of fee for calls, is so that nobody could ever point to us and say, you're soliciting. We didn't. We got hired by a client to provide professional advice. The second thing it does for me and my team is, because we are committed to humanity, getting enhanced out of our content, out of disclosing how banks, or what banks are doing to a Fortune 30 companies are at. We get a lot of junk leads. We get a lot of shoppers. We get a lot of people that are just tire kickers. I get 10 million joker brokers like that. And by charging a small fee, what we find consistently is that it kills a junk lead. So that's the second thing. It kills the junk lead. And the third thing is that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I get a little bit older every year. I can't deny that. It's a fact of life. And I'm planning, I'm not 20 years old. I don't have a startup. I'm not trying to compete with Facebook like that. I'm trying to go from working from 11 o'clock in the morning till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm trying to go from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Like it's all about, I'm now at a stage where for me and my staff, quality of life and enjoying life is super important. So by charging a small consultation fee, we really don't need the money for the consultation fee. It really allows us to make sure that if we made this for free, if we made our time available for free, we could be working 24 hours a day, and I'm not interested in doing that for me or the people that work with me, kind of thing. My name is Taimour Zaman from All Funds Global. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please share the YouTube video. Please like it. Please subscribe to our channel. I would love to have the opportunity of working with you and your network. Thank you. Okay, so for the purpose of this confidentiality of this conversation, I'm not going to disclose what your name is. I'm just going to say you're a financial services advisory company out of the UK, and you're using our expertise and a lot of our insights for providing structured loans to clients around the world. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, correct, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the value you got out of our work together so far?
The value is you cannot use words to say, in a way. Yeah, because you shortened all the process, everything very much, and also the transparencies. So that one is a key, I think, and also the honesty. Those are the key. Yeah, the value of that is really you can't use words to express, in a way.
For sure, I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, I just want to say on behalf of everybody who works with me, like Sarah, people like you make my day all day long, for sure. And I really want to say thank you for being such a valuable person who has a lot of projects and has a lot of questions. And thank you for trusting me with all the money you and your clients trust you with. So I really appreciate that.
With Taimour just get things done. And basically, he's the guy when you have a problem, he's the guy that you're going to call to get the problem solved. So
now I'm going to get 10,000 calls that I don't need.
How can I help these people, especially if their projects are in infrastructure, humanitarian projects, So it touched my heart to really reach out and find a way, because I believe there is a way there. I just need to find out where. And I found you, Taimour, and I think you're the answer for most of their questions. How do we get funded, especially in a large scale? And I think this is the answer.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and your trust.
Thank you.
Hi friends, and I'm going to take a minute and answer some of your frequently asked questions. The first question, I guess, Taimour, we love a lot of the content you're producing. We're certainly learning a lot. Is there a way that we can work a little bit closer with your organization and learn a little bit more? So the answer to that is we have 4 ways where you can work a little bit closer with us. The first easier way is buy a copy of our book, Hypergrowth, How to Connect with Customers in New Ways. The second way is that if you're working on a project that requires project financing and you're looking for a consultation around that, strategies from a proven provider, you can book a consultation call. The third one is if you want to join one of our mastermind groups. Our brokers go through a mastermind group with our directors of partnerships. I run a mastermind group on how to become a bank first. And finally, one of my favorite programs is offering trusted advisory services. Primarily these are for businesses that don't have a CFO, or their CFO doesn't have real international banking relationships. They're looking for experts like us to be parachuted for about 6 months, 4 months to look at their assets, look at their strategy, bring in some bank relationships, some product services that could exponentially increase the profitability and the growth of the company. And you can access all of that through the trusted advisory services. If you're interested in things like that, feel free to book a consultation call with me, and I'm happy to help you. The next one is, Taimour, you're passionate about a mastermind group on why to become a bank first. Why is that so important? Imagine you run a coffee shop and I run a coffee shop. Imagine you buy your coffee beans and your supplies from the same vendor that I buy it from. And imagine my coffee shop is right across your coffee shop, so differentiation is like really pretty much null for that. If you drank the Kool-Aid called learn how to become a bank first before you become a coffee shop owner, being a real estate developer, being a venture capitalist, whatever you do for a living, if you drank the Kool-Aid of becoming a bank first, you will not have issues and the challenges traditional businesses have. Allow me to give you an example. You made $500,000 net profit in your coffee shop business. I made $500,000 net profit in my business. Like that. You drank the Kool-Aid on how to become a bank first. You take your $500,000, you walk into places like Cayman Islands that allows foreigners like you and I to open bank licenses, not bank accounts, not corporate accounts, but you open up bank licenses. Well, in places like Cayman Islands, you and I can deposit money in our bank accounts, because necessarily in our bank accounts, if you own a bank license, you have to deposit money in the Central Bank of Cayman Islands, and the central bank gives your bank a line of credit at 10 times multiples, which means your 500K now turns into $5 million. You take your $5 million and I don't know where you live, in Europe, in Australia, wherever you live in, you go to your bank, your local bank, and you say, hey, I want to grow my coffee business. I need capital for growing it, or I want to buy an auxiliary business, or I want to invest in a new business, or I want to invest in real estate. Here's my business plan. And you know, when you want to buy real estate, you put 20% down and the bank gives you a loan for 80%. So guess what you do with your $5 million? You put it down, your $5 million as your deposit, and you get your bank to give you a loan for 80% of the project you're looking for with a $5 million deposit. What that means is that now you get a line of credit for $20 million. So I made $500,000, you made $500,000, and you turned into $20 million. Can you outperform me in advertising? Can you maybe go to the supplier and say, hey, I want to buy bulk coffee beans or whatever the deal is. Give me a discount that you can't give to Taimour because I'm going to be buying it in bulk. And then outwin me on pricing. Can you, even at $20 million, even this side business, like invest in real estate or something like that? The unfortunate event of coronavirus happens. and a lot of these businesses just die, you can outlast that. When the unfortunate Russian invasion of Ukraine happens and inflation goes up and all these turmoils that happen, you can outlast that all day long because you drank a Kool-Aid called learn how to become a bank first. And that's why I'm very passionate about teaching this. You're not working with amateurs, you're working with experienced professionals who know what they're doing. Next question, I guess, Taimour, you charge a fee for consultation. That's correct, we do. Why do you guys charge a fee for consultation? There's two answers for that. The first answer is that I provide about 40% of my content completely for free on YouTube. That some of the videos attracts millions of viewers, and that leads to about 600 calls a day to us. And a lot of them are junk transactions. It's joker brokers who are shopping around. Is somebody who doesn't have a real transaction. They're tire kickers that are. By charging a consultation fee, we cut all of that out and we talk to people who are serious about doing business with us. The caliber of people we meet are significantly more when we charge a fee compared to when we don't charge a fee. Second reason why I charge a consultation fee is that a lot of times our clients are looking for, hey, if I participate in this program or whatever it is that I'm doing, what are the returns I can get? Well, if you were going to be a joker broker and start providing returns, that's called solicitation. However, if we're charging a fee, the client is legally hiring us, retaining us, and so when you're hiring us as consultants, retain us as consultants for a very small nominal fee, now we are not soliciting anything. Now comes the best part of the whole thing. We actually refund 100% of the fee to the client at the time of a transaction complete. So we refund 100% of the money when the transaction completes. So this way I wouldn't say there's no cost for the call, but I just want to make sure I'm talking to a qualified individual that's ready, willing, and able to do a transaction versus tire kickers like that. Next question, I guess, who's your ideal client and who's not? Our ideal clients are businesses that have cash, that have to have some kind of liquid cash and or assets like letters of credit, real estate, like that. They're looking for a large amount of capital that banks are offering primarily to their Fortune 30, Fortune 50 clients. Like that. You're leveraging us because of a volume of transactions we do with banks, our experience, our expertise, our ability to execute, and this new amount of capital allows our clients to get funding that allows them to buy a business, buy a new business, buy existing business, expand your business, get the project funding you need for project expansion like that. That's the market we are interested in serving, businesses that have some kind of liquid capital and or assets and they're ready to start a transaction. Next question I get, and this was an odd one. Why is there no defamation or lawsuits against your organization? So knock on wood, as a date of this video, there's no defamation or lawsuits against my organization. Awesome, yeah. There's two answers why there isn't any. The corporate answer is because we operate with a high level of integrity. Everything we do is to law firms, on paper, like things like that. That's the corporate answer. The truthful answer is my vision as a CEO hasn't been bold enough, big enough for me to knock some trees down for this to happen. So here's some facts. If you look at the big brand names in your household, whichever car you drive, a Honda, a Toyota, a Mercedes, or whatever medicines you have, Tylenol, whoever your fridge manufacturer is, whether you use Google, Facebook, look at the big brands of things you consume in your household. Look at the income statement of these big brands. You will notice every one of them, whether it's the car you drive, the medicine you're consuming, the internet, Google, Facebook, or look at their income statements and you'll notice that litigation is part of their income statement. Fact is that a lot of organizations at some point in your growth, in your maturity of your business, litigation unfortunately is part of it. And when it comes to us, we're ready, willing, and able. But the fact that we don't have it, my truthful answer, not my corporate answer, is because my vision as the CEO hasn't been bold, big enough for me to try to disrupt the world kind of thing. My last question is, we are interested in learning about participating in small cap or alternative to small cap private placement programs. Why would people choose your organization versus alternative options? I would think because we use attorneys, securities attorneys, international attorneys. I think that's probably a big one. because I'm in a private placement program, have been in a private placement program. I've done buy and sells myself successfully. So I would say the why choose us is experience, expertise, ability to execute. We're not providing providers that have a Gmail, Hotmail, email address like that. We're working with some of the best attorneys out there in having the attorney manage the client's funds, or having the attorney actually run a private placement program, or the attorney representing the clients with platforms we vetted, like things like that. My name is Taimour Zaman. Before I let you go, I just want to say on behalf of my associates, my team, myself, I'm really grateful for the time you invest in watching our YouTube videos, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Your time and attention are yours to keep, and the fact that you watch our YouTube videos and give us some of your time, I just want to say I'm truly grateful for that. Thank you so much. I look forward to the opportunity of meeting you, and hopefully for the opportunity of also helping you out on a project. Thank you.